Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are we all today? Welcome to the Coffee Run Live. Let me know when you're here that you can hear me, that we're on, it's all happening. We have got episode 584. Can you believe it? It's just, I know that I say that most days. I can't believe how fast the time goes and how much, just I guess like how many episodes this has been going for. It's kind of cool, kind of fun, I reckon. So welcome to today. What I wanted to talk about today is something that I think is really interesting. And the part of the reason that I think that this is interesting is because, well, the word authenticity gets bandied around a lot. Hey, Rebecca, how are you? Welcome to Thursday. The word authenticity gets bandied around a lot. And I guess for me, what I was having a chat with some people, clients of mine up on the Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, oh my God, how do you show up and be, authentic when everyone else is being authentic, but we know that they're actually really, well, not everybody, but we know that there are a lot of people out there who are full of shit. That was something that was actually said. I'm really awesome, Rebecca. Thank you for asking. That's so sweet. So to me, I thought what we'll talk about today is that what my take is on authenticity. And, I'd be curious to hear what your take is on it as well, actually, because I think, we've all got different interpretations of what it is, what it looks like, how it sounds, how it feels, and things like that. But I guess for me, the thing that I always aim to do, and the thing that I've always aimed to do is to really keep things very real, right? Now, I might be sitting here, particularly in the early days, and this is what I want you to take from this. In the early days, I was like, oh my God, I have to do a Facebook Live, oh my God, or I have to go film a blog or whatever. And I was really worried about trying to make it perfect. I was really worried about trying to be very professional. I was really worried about people thinking that I didn't know my stuff, that I wasn't worth it, that I wasn't worthy, that I wasn't whatever. And so I guess like in the early days of really early blogs, and you can go to YouTube and have a laugh at some of the early on videos if you like, some of the stuff that I would be talking about was stuff that I really knew about, and I believed in, and I'd used, and I'd leveraged, and I've had clients get results from it, and I'd had results from it. But I was so petrified of not being taken seriously that I felt like I had to kind of almost prove to the world that I was enough and that I was good enough and things like that. And I guess this is for me where with authenticity, there's a lot of stuff that goes around where people are saying, just fake it till you make it. And I wanted to talk about that for a minute because from there, if people say to me, if they were to ask me, oh, do you believe in, faking it till you make it? My knee-jerk response is, hell no. But then it's like, well, actually, there's elements that you kind of want to pull apart from that, right? And to me, like fake it till you make it, it's for me, I assume that means that that maybe you don't actually know what you're talking about. Not having confidence and faking it till you make it for me are two different things. So I think definitely there are things that you can find within you to be confident enough to be able to show up on camera. And the fake it till you make it stuff to me is there are usually a whole set of rules in our heads that we make up, right? Nobody else makes this stuff up except us. It's like it's all in our heads around how we should be, how we should show up, how we should sound, how we should speak, what we should do, how often we should do it, and everything like that. So if you were to get rid of all of the shoulds, right, and think about the stuff that you are really passionate about. Think about the stuff that you really love talking about. Think about the things that get your goat, right? Think about the things that piss you off. Think about the things that light you up. Think about those things within your business knowledge, right? Or whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're a life coach, it might be around boundaries. If you're a business coach, it might be around, we talked about yesterday around knowing your numbers. the fake it till you make it stuff to me automatically automatically assumes that you're going to go out lying to your audience. So, and you're kind of like wearing this false sense of bravado. And instead, what I think is a better option and a better idea and a better way of being is for you to turn up. Let's talk about live streams, right? Or creating content. So if you were to do a live stream for the first time, or if you were to go and, shameless plug, join Contentology and, start putting posts out there and things like that. I think one of the things that you are absolutely better off to do is to go out to your audience, and instead of pretending that you are super confident and that you've got all your shit together and that you've got this, and yes, you believe in your stuff and you believe that you can help people, but what about you go out to your audience and you say, hey, you guys, I'm actually really scared about doing this live stream, right? And I've done this in the past. I'm like, you know what? And it's genuine. It was genuine when I did this for live streams. It's genuine when I stand on stage and I say, this actually makes me feel really really uncomfortable, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So I'll do that, particularly if I'm asking for testimonials from people. I find it, for me personally, I'm very, very happy to provide a testimonial for people that I've worked with. Super, super happy. And I really like it when they ask me for it. But when the shoe is on the other foot and I'm standing here and I'm saying, hey, Rebecca, really glad that you love my program, or really glad that you love this event, or I'm really glad that you love this live stream or whatever, would you mind giving a testimonial for me? That makes me, that brings up all of my insecurities. It brings up all of this stuff around, oh my gosh, what if they didn't really like it? What if they say no? All of this silly, insecure stuff that, I've got enough testimonials. I've been doing this for long enough. I know my stuff works. But when I go to ask it, I feel really uncomfortable doing it. So the way that I deal with this, and this is a way of being really authentic, you don't have to do this every time, but the thing that I will say to people is, hey, I'm going to ask you this. I feel really uncomfortable doing it, but, I'm going to do it anyway because I need to be really, I've got to take the lead here. And if I'm asking you to do things that are uncomfortable, I need to do the things that are uncomfortable to me. So here's the thing, would you mind, blah, blah. If you're going out and you're committed to doing, say the 30-day challenge where you're like, all right, I'm going to go out on my page every day for 30 days and I'm going to talk a bit about whatever prompt Nicola gives me. And that might make you feel really uncomfortable because talking about only business content is really safe, right? I could talk about how to go and put a post up on Facebook. I could talk about how to go create a Facebook ad. I can talk about the importance of building a funnel. I can talk about the structure of your blogs. I can talk about how to design a Facebook cover in Canva. All of that stuff is very much business content, and that is very safe, right? It's super safe to hide behind processes, systems, advice, like that kind of strategy stuff. But when it comes to sharing things with you, exactly, Rebecca, it always seems to be help to be upfront about how you feel. It helps to, for what I've found for me is that it helps to, if I'm leading from that place and I'm trying to give practice a bit of grace with myself, it seems to then come back from the people in the room or the people that I'm talking to, or, in a live stream or whatever. If I was to say, oh my God, you guys, I'm going to go and do this is my very first live stream. Please be nice to me. Please be gentle. Please be really kind because I'm really scared. Then you guys are like, oh my God, this makes it so much easier for you to relate to me. It makes it really, it kind of softens it for your audience. It can be scary, Carmen, absolutely. But for your audience who are watching and listening and being a part of your stuff, no matter what it is, if they understand that you are, that you've got some doubts or that you're a bit scared or, whatever the heck might be, it allows them to act with grace with you as well. right? And then what happens is that if you're saying, look, I find this really awkward, but, I want to share something, or you might say, I don't normally talk about this stuff and this is what I want to talk about, then what happens is it gives you permission, not that you need it, but it's almost like you can give yourself permission to go and say whatever it is that needs to be said, share whatever it is that needs to be shared, do whatever it is that needs to be done from a real place of authenticity without the bullshit. One of the blessings, it's like a double-sided coin, right? That the blessing and the curse of social media means that every man and his dog can have a presence, they can have a profile, they can have an opinion, they can get out there. But the thing for me is like, well, you know what? I think that there is a real lack, and here, because there's a real big gap for you, I think there is a real lack of people who are willing to be like truly authentic, not just buzzword authentic, but real authentic, which means like no bullshit. It means you show up and you be how you are. It means that you lead with your best foot forward. Obviously, I'm not saying that you I don't know. I'm not saying that you just, you half-ass it. You definitely whole-ass it. But I think this whole fake it till you make it stuff is a bit of a it can lead to people acting and showing up from a place of being not real and from a place of bullshit. And that is a big problem out there in the world. You've only got to see, some of these people who talk about promoting healthy eating, for instance, and yet they're drinking every night or whatever it is, they're miserable. People who are happiness and wellness coaches who are miserable and not practicing what they teach. So for me, authenticity means that you're walking your talk. It means that you're being real. Now, the big things with this is that, yes, Carmen, it can absolutely be scary. But for me, when I think about it, it's that authenticity equals bravery, right? There is no time for bullshit, Rebecca. It's awful. It's horrible. It's shit. It's part of the reason why, I'll talk about, so I'm vegan at the minute, right? But I'll say, I'm like 97% vegan and I work out and I'm healthy and I do all the things and stuff, but I'm 97% vegan because generally speaking, one day of the week or one night of the week, I will eat all of the peanut M&Ms, I will eat all of the lollies, and they are most definitely not vegan. Not that matters really, but in the scheme of everything, if I was a health coach, or if I was somebody who was like, you should be vegan. If I was a vegan advocate, which I am, but if that was the premise of my business page, if I was a vegan advocate and I'm out there eating non-vegan things, or I'm wearing leather, or whatever else it is, then that would be bullshit. That would be inauthentic. That would be not me. That would be me not walking my talk. That would be, it would undermine my whole entire message. And the other thing that it does is it actually creates a space for people to then come in at you and attack you and bring you down and all of that kind of thing. It's not like, to me, if you want to build a sustainable business and you want to build something that's going to be here for a long time and create a legacy and transform, change, motivate, inspire a whole ton of people's lives, then you want to be as real as possible, because otherwise you're constantly faking it till you make it, and you're constantly lying, and you're constantly trying to pull shit in, and you're going to get caught out. It's just the way that it happens. You might be walking down the street and someone who follows you on social media can literally yell at you across the road and you wouldn't even know that they're following you, right? Does that make sense, right? I think this makes sense. So to me, authenticity is something that most people are really scared to step into publicly and step into online. Now, that means for you, and like I said, in a world full of bullshit, in a social media newsfeed, it doesn't matter which platform you're on. One of the examples of this, actually, here's a working example of this. I was looking at Instagram the other day, and there was when you go into the search function in Instagram and it gives you some suggestions of profiles and pages that you can follow, there was some there was a couple of posts that had two photos together of the same woman in the same outfit. One was posed and she looked like she was like this. She had like the teeniest, tiniest little waist that you could ever possibly imagine. Really like a really awesome hourglass shape. And then you saw the photo next to her where she was breathing and she was like, so this is like kind of like side on a little bit and you could see the shape. And then when you see the second photo, she's breathing and she's not going like, obviously not breathing in. And you can see how her normal shape is, right? So you've got the real photos and then you've got the very posed photos. Now, if all you're showing in this instance is the posed photos and then people see you walking down the street and they're like, well, actually you don't look like that, or they see you at the gym or, whatever the case might be, it paints a not real picture. Now, the problem with that is that it sets up a very unfair expectation and things that are just not real, right? So I actually really like these pages. I really like these posts that show how actually video is really awesome too, how they're showing these women, posing and, very sucked in and then, moving so that you can see the shape of their abs and their waist and their hips and their chests. And then they just sort of like move and then they stand and breathe normally. And it's like, oh my God, that makes me feel good because I can see the real and I can also see, oh, okay, so that's a post shot and then that's the real shot. So what most people don't do online is that they don't share that breathing style, right? They don't share the reality of actually what's going on. They only share the posed stuff. And so for you, to me, it's not saying that you're not authentic in both of those things, but if all you're ever doing is putting up the polished, posed, professional, eyes dotted, T's crossed, perfectly made up glamour bullshit, if that's all you're posting, then it sets an unreal expectation for the people who are looking at coming into buying from you, right? So there's a huge gap in the market that you can throw in. You can talk calm and you can talk about stage fright. You can talk about nerves. You can talk about all of that stuff. For people who are coaches now, I'm not saying that you go out there and you say, oh, look, my life is really shit. And then, oh, look, my life is really awesome. If you're a life coach and you're selling happiness, then you probably want to be genuinely happy most of the time. But perhaps you can say, I'll talk a little bit about, and I don't have all of this shit figured out, by the way, but I really, my heart is in the place where I'm like, all right, I've really got to make sure that I'm letting you know the reality of some of the stuff, some of the things that I deal with, so that it's not just all sunshine and lollipops. I talked a little bit about my relationship with my husband a couple of days ago. Actually yesterday in the blog, it's like I believe our businesses are like a whole other entity. It's like a relationship. There's going to be times where you fucking hate your business. There's going to be times where you're madly, truly, deeply in love with it. And it takes work, right? You've got to either write it out, or maybe you're not built for business if you can't write that out. And relationships are the same. If you're committed to making it work, you will find a way to make it work if it's the thing that you really feel like you want to be doing. I'm not perfect, but what I'll talk about is, anxiety or, motivation or inspiration or stuff, not because I'm trying to get you help, right? I'm not doing it. I'm not using you guys as my therapists. What I'm doing is I'm letting you know, hey, you know what? Most of the time I'm happy as a pig in shit. And there is some of the times that I'm really not, and I question my own sanity and I question my ability to do this because, you know what? I'm freaking human. And when we go out and let our audiences know that, you know what, we're human, that takes a massive act of bravery. It means that you've got to be real. It does mean that you've got to be vulnerable. Don't lie and don't bullshit. But, just letting people know that it's okay to be human and have a human experience and have these, human feelings, because believe it or not, we're all human and we all have these shared experiences. So it builds some really cool rapport with people too. But the bottom line around authenticity, to me, if you only take one thing away today, this is, how can you demonstrate to your audience that you are walking your talk. How are you, if you're promoting, take the big leap, how are you promoting that you take the big leap? How have you done that in the past? You've got to share that stuff. And what were the fears that you were worried about when you were about to take that big leap? I've booked a national tour. I'm so excited. Booked the flights and I've booked the venues for the national tour coming up in June. So we'll be in, COVID permitting, we'll be in Melbourne, Perth, Sydney, Gold Coast. So incredibly excited. I am also shitting my pants that I won't sell any tickets. I'm shitting my pants that COVID will upset my travel plans. I'm shitting my pants that there'll only be one person buy out of the whole entire thing. I mean, it'll be a good holiday. I'm actually, I'm not, but I am. I've got those things where I'm worried about people being scared to be in a room. There's all of this stuff going on. That's the reality. But I don't let that hold me back, right? So by talking about that, it's like, yeah, these are some of the things. Hey, Carolyn, these are some of the things that are going on in my head. But you know what? These are the things that I do in spite of that. So it's important for you to do that with your audiences as well. All right. Now, if you are ready to share more of this stuff, being really authentic, being even more of a badass online than I'm sure you already are, then you've got to come in and join Contentology. We start on the 1st of May, which is Saturday. And every day for 30 days, I'm going to give you a prompt. I will be on video. I will give you an example. And then you're going to go and create a post or a photo or a story or a verbal, like a video, whatever you want to do, out on your page, and you're going to do that every day for 30 days. And it's all about sharing you. Now, if you've done Contentology before, even if you've been in the competition before, yes, you can come back on in. You are very, very welcome. Just repay that entry fee and you are in. And the bonus, not only are you going to be out there talking to your audience more, sharing more of you, being very authentic, doing all of that in a really safe way for you, in a really supported way for you, you also get to go in the running to win $1,000 cold hard cash. I will just send you $1,000 if you happen to be the winner, and you don't even have to spend it with me. You can go spend it on whatever the heck you like. Maybe some new shoes or a handbag to reward yourself, or I don't know, whatever you feel like. It's totally up to you. It'd be your cash to do whatever you like with. So if you want to find out more about that, you can see the link in the comments there. But otherwise, you know what you need to do. Get yourselves out there, go help some people, have a whole ton of fun doing it. And remember that the world is ready for your brand of awesome. Why? Because you freaking rock. If I don't see you before, I will see you tomorrow.